episode 85 of Lost in Translationmon. I'm May.
And I'm Jay.
This week we watched All Aboard.
Or the legendary warrior, Agnimon of Fire.
It's a Goonimon. It's
Agnimon, that's how it's spelled.
No, actually it's not. It's a Goonimon because it's Japanese and that wouldn't have just a G by itself. It's Gu, as in G-U.
But it wouldn't be Agunimon, it would be Agnimon.
No, it'd be Agunimon.
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 It's not a Goonimon,
It's
no.
the same Gu. It's the same Gu as in Agumon.
You would never play Wheel of Agoon.
Jay, it's the same Gu as in Agumon.
Yeah, so that's Agmon.
You don't say Agmon.
I do now.
Okay, now you do apparently. Alright, and the second episode we watched was called Lobomon, Warrior of Light.
Or Wolfmon of Light. Something, I didn't get the full name.
The Underground Labyrinth Battle.
That's a terrible name. It's not even a labyrinth, it's a sphere.
They do spend a lot of the both these episodes underground looking after Tomoki, though.
Well, I mean, like, it's about trains. They've got to spend a lot of time underground.
I guess. For DigiNews this week, first up, there's some new news regarding Try, and it's about we get character songs which will be released in March, and there'll be one album for the Digimon and one album for the children.
That's a cute idea.
So we've had the character songs for previous seasons, so it's nice that we get them for Try as well, and I'd be interested to see what they're about.
I want... What's her name? I want May, the new character.
Yeah.
I want hers to just be 10 minutes of just crying.
I can imagine that's a really hard name for you to remember, Jay.
I know it is. Especially because her Digimon has got such a different name.
Yeah. And we also got the first 5 minutes of Chapter 4, which we won't be covering because we don't cover the first 5 minutes because we're going to be watching it. We'll watch it when it comes out, if it comes out on Crunchyroll, which hopefully it does again.
I feel like you've made me watch the beginning of one of them once, and I was like, this is
The
Japanese,
first one.
I don't know what's happening.
It was the first one, it was like the first 5
yeah,
minutes.
and it's always like, look, it's Japanese,
It was
great.
the best part was it was the Demiurge stuff.
Oh my god, that was awful. That still doesn't make any sense. Because they haven't even, like, expanded on it at all. It was just a thing they said at the beginning.
I trust them to go somewhere with this.
I think they've forgotten they wrote that already.
No.
I think it's really funny that in the interview, whatever it was, the guy said, yeah, the mystery dude looks like Jedi. That's weird.
Yeah, and we also got a scan from the Animedia magazine and had a bit on Try, and the translation was there was some questions, and there's also some nice information that we might get to see some relationships with Digimon and the humans who aren't their partners. But there was also a part about Genai, well, whoever we think is Genai, and it said this is a mystery man.
It's not Genai.
I don't know. It's
person who look like Genai.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think their reaction is, wait, people who watched Adventure know who young Genai is?
Yeah. What's 02?
You're not meant to know who this is. It's meant to be like a reveal.
For Lost NewsLatelymon, we're intending to stream Next Order on the night of the 27th of January, which is a Friday, and that's Australian time. Well, you'll be with me, because we're going to be recording the episode for that week on the Thursday. So we can live stream Next Order that night.
Okay.
I did mention this to you.
Do we have a Twitch stream now?
Well, I have a Twitch.
What?
I have a Twitch, because
Okay.
I've streamed when I was playing Destiny and being bad at it before.
This is new.
So,
Did
yeah.
you have any viewers?
Yeah, had people laughing at me.
Aww.
I had like 4 viewers.
I'm proud of you.
So yeah, we'll be streaming that. I'm not sure how that time would equate to other people in the world. I'm assuming for America and England it would be like the 26th of January.
That's why we should play at like 3 a.m. so that everyone can actually
Well,
watch.
you can play it at 3 in the morning.
Oh, I don't wanna.
I'll play it starting from, let's say, like 7 p.m. on the 27th of January.
What does that mean for other countries? You
Well,
know, the real countries.
they'll work it out. Australian Eastern Standard Time to whatever. I don't know. I don't have time to go through every single country and every single time zone.
You got no time to explain.
Next, there's no obnoxious synopsis for this week's episode, since it's a season start, and anything that Jay predicted was at the end of episode 84.
It was that there would be trains.
Yep, you're right, there are trains. And obnoxious synopsis will return in the next episode, episode 86.
Did I say I would hate this child? Because I would have been so right.
You said you'd hate Tomoki and everyone, basically.
Yes.
So I opened 2 boxes of Appmon version 2 cards, and the other one was Appmon Chips version 2, and I uploaded the unboxing, so check that out. I also put up a Let's Play of me playing Kid Station. We also uploaded Aptly episode 13, and we've also started to upload old episodes to YouTube again. We're up to episode 27 in the YouTube backlog. And also, do you like our new intro? Please let us know. We worked hard on it. Our new intro is in like the Execute podcast evolution.
I was about to say, no, you worked hard on it. I'm like, no, I did a thing for that.
Yeah, you shouted.
I definitely made the recording of a 2-second clip take 10 minutes.
Yeah, well done. Anyway, on to the episode.
If you want to hear any details about those weird 10 minutes, you can donate to us on Patreon and you'll find the unedited version of us struggling to say the intro.
Yeah.
Mostly because of me.
Yeah, no fault of my own. So yeah, on to the episode discussion. First episode starts with, and I just want to say, the really annoying beep before the intro, where it says, this is the digital world, it is in trouble. But there's this really annoying beep at the start, like, beep, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, it's not great.
And then we hear an amazing Digimon song, and it's called Fire. In the English version, it's much better, though.
And they go, ooh, scary train face.
And something I noticed was Tomoki's doing a handstand on a moving train. What an idiot.
Like, you see the evil silhouette of, like, the bunny face?
Yeah.
And so you know who the bad guy is. I mean, they tell you later. They full on tell you. And then Spirit Evolution isn't even... I mean, I said to myself, it's not even kept as a surprise. But I just assumed that it would be something that comes up, like, a third of the way through the series.
Wow, how else do you think they would fight with the Digimon?
I thought they would have Digimon.
Oh, you legitimately thought they'd have no partners?
No, they would have partners.
Yeah, you legitimately thought they'd have a partner.
I saw little partner dudes, and it turns out they're just comic relief.
Yeah.
And explanation. I just assumed they actually had Digimon for a bit. And I thought it was weird that they weren't... Okay, here we go. This is what my note says. The Spirit Evolution isn't even attempted to keep a surprise. Also, there's their next evolutions too, which they spoil for whatever reason.
Do they?
Yeah, you can see the thing they turn into next as well.
Really? In the intro?
Pretty sure.
Where?
In the intro. I can't tell.
I
I
don't-
want to tell you the exact time off the top of my head.
I 100% noticed that you don't actually see any next evolution.
I'm pretty sure you do.
If there are.
I don't know. In fact, do we even see the partners? I right?
Oh,
No, that's it. That's what that is.
whoops. And there's this part in the Japanese opening where their mouths are moving in time with the lyrics. I'm like, yes, I'm also excited for the fire. But also the English version is amazing. Did you like the English version?
The English version's really good. It's
you
my favorite bit about the show, and I don't think anything in this show will top the English opening. I'm calling it now from episode 1. There is nothing in this show that can make me feel more emotions than that song.
What about the Japanese opening? Did you like that?
It's fine. It's acceptable.
It's not as good as the English one. Nothing's as good as the English one. No, I agree.
It's really great. They spent years ruining and murdering the English openings. Now they're like, hey, how about you have an amazing one?
Yeah, no, it is one of the most incredible openings.
And it's like, and you fight for one solution.
The Spirit's evolution.
Hot damn dog.
I am the one. I'm sick at the moment. Don't make the sick person sing, please.
That's great.
So Takuya gets a strange SMS. Are you a protagonist?
Yeah, I've talked to you outside the show about this. So this is one of the two things in this show that are wholesale stolen by Appmon. Appmon just looked at this part and was like, yeah, that seems like a great idea.
And I also noticed those two parts, so yeah. Well, they're similar.
And okay, so Takuya is running, and he almost gets murdered by a truck.
Yeah.
And then time reverses, and... okay, I know it's his brother's birthday party, but my first watching, I thought it was his dad's really sad birthday party.
That's sad.
I don't know, they just pull out some random person's name. Then he gets the text message asking if he wants to be a protagonist, and then he runs away from the...
but before that, I just noticed that in the English version, Takuya's brother is very whiny about, he's ordering his mum around, basically. I'm like, why is he suddenly so whiny?
Better question, can she cook?
Well, no, obviously she can't. That's what we learned from Digimon. Also in the dub, Takuya keeps complaining about being bored, and he only accepts the SMS's instruction because he's bored, and it'll be better than being bored.
Well, I was going to say, he's running away from home based on a spam phone message.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it that's really special. I think that's what Appmon did right, was here is a weird device that it's so strange and appeared in such a strange circumstance, you can kind of trust that what it's telling you is important. Whereas with him, it's just a message on his phone.
Yeah.
If I sent you a message on your phone tomorrow, that's it, I don't know, from an anonymous number that isn't mine, I guess, so you would know. And it was are you a protagonist? Run to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Would you be well, I gotta go?
Well, that's a little bit further away than what he's doing.
Would you run to a random train station to a message like that?
I don't know if it said I'd get a Digimon in it. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
If I get a Digimon.
Oh man, I saw some static in the TV, and Gabumon was in there. I swear. Like the lights turned off for a second, and Agumon was standing right there. I'll find him one day.
Then in the dub, his mum tells him not to play in the streets, so when the flashback ends, he's able to mention how mums are always right.
I didn't make that connection at all.
There's basically no speaking in the original during these parts.
Yeah, because he's just about to die.
Yeah.
There's no time to explain.
So he runs to the station, and he didn't bring any money. And in the dub, he's complaining about how he should have asked for more allowance. And then the train gets there, and he hits his head on the machine and gets a ticket.
Yeah, it's funny is that there's a very minor difference there, in which in Japanese he has money, he just doesn't bring it with him.
Yeah.
Whereas in English he's poor for some reason.
Because he's a tiny child.
I guess.
So he gets on the train and
Yep. He doesn't scan his ticket. He doesn't run it through
he does.
anything.
He pops it to the thing and it pops out.
Does he?
Yeah.
He ran through so fast. I didn't.
He was like the ones we used in Japan, the ones you put in the ticket.
No,
and you
I know what
end.
it's like. I swear he just ran straight through and didn't do anything.
No,
Okay.
he didn't jump the turnstile or anything.
No, I just thought it was open the whole time. Alright. So he uses his magic ticket, which is red, which, as we know, lets you into the D Reaper's field.
And also, like, it's obviously, like, a bit different from a normal ticket. I'm not sure how he didn't notice that there's, like, a thing of electricity that goes through it.
And he runs on the train because he had a minute left, which in English he just happened to comment on, and he dives at it, which looks really dumb.
Yeah.
And the Blue Ranger's on the train.
Yeah, being an edgelord. And then Takuya gets another SMS, and he says the boy also does.
And I've just got it written here, like, he's Sasuke. He's just Sasuke from Naruto.
Can I give you an interesting bit of information?
What?
In the Japanese version, Takuya is voiced by Naruto.
Oh...
And Kouji's voiced by...
Sasuke.
No. Kouji's voiced
Really
by Ryo.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh god.
I might be wrong.
Voice actors are
Maybe
awful.
that's in English. I don't know.
And then so somehow their train becomes an elevator?
No, they go to the next station, which is still an elevator, but it goes through all the floors. He wasn't jumping into a train then.
Yeah, you did.
No.
What?
They had to say, okay, go to this platform, and so they go to the platform, and then on the way to the platform, the lift they go is
I swear they got an... Okay.
No, it's a lift. It's a
Okay.
lift. That's why it has the different floor levels on it.
I thought it was Digital World nonsense.
No.
It was harder to follow than it should have been.
Oh, no, I found it really easy to follow.
Well, that's because you've seen it before.
Not for a long time.
But you have.
Yeah, but I also know the difference between a lift and a train.
I don't.
I know.
They both move you from point A to point B.
Well, here's a bit of a difference. One moves sideways, one moves up and down.
That's literally the only difference. Oh, okay, no, there's two differences. Sideways and up and down, and elevators don't eat chocolate.
And there's also less of a chance to hit people.
I mean, I guess. The chance of hitting someone with a train is very low until the people start throwing themselves.
Yeah, good point. Like if you're in Speed or something. You know the movie? That started with the lift scene.
What's that movie called? Oh, that's right. I remember what it's called.
The
it was
bus
called...
that couldn't slow down.
Damn it!
It's my favourite quote. Don't steal it from me.
I wasn't stealing it from you. I was telling it on the show.
Yeah, but I told it faster.
You did.
The bus that couldn't slow down.
What's that movie? It's about speed, and they couldn't reduce their speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Takuya tries to make small talk with Sasuke, and the lift speeds up and goes beyond the ground floor. In the dub, Takuya mentions how he needs to stop landing on his head, which is fair enough. Then, when Kouji walks off, Takuya asks him which train he's choosing, and then he says how his phone talks more than he does, because he's not replying to him. It's just silence in the original, by the way.
So there's tons of kids, actually, in this Digital World, like, train station. There's a lot of them. There's... How many Digidestined are there? Do they all get Digivices?
I don't know.
Well, that's really helpful answers.
Well, I'm not meant to spoil anything for it to you.
So then we see a small child being bullied onto a train, and just like shoved in there for reasons. And you see all the characters, and at the time I was really, really sure that like all the characters were on different trains because they cut to them from different angles. I thought the colors of the trains looked different.
No, it did seem like that.
And then first of all, you play the game of like spot the main characters, and then the trains all take off, and only Sasuke wasn't on the same train. Everyone else is just not only were they in the same train, they were in the same carriage.
Yeah.
And the fat guy's eating, because of course he is.
But bit before that, Takuya is standing around when all the trains are moving, so he realises he has to train jump. And in the dub, he mentions how his destiny involves a lot of running. Then Koji's just staring at him because I guess edgelord. And then Takuya runs to the through the carriage, and then he wonders if there are other people on board. In the dub, he says it's like a ghost train, and then starts running faster because he says it's a ghost train.
Oh no!
Yeah, and then that's part up too.
So Junpei's eating because he's the chunker. Also, was it so Takuya tries to talk to him and he's like, yeah, man, whatever. Then he sees that there is a girl behind him and he goes, oh, hi, my name's Junpei, what's up?
Yeah.
You want some chocolate? Yeah.
So this is
some sexual chocolate.
So this is a weird change that I noticed. So while in the original, Junpei says he doesn't have to tell Takuya everything that he does and the reason for that. And in the dub, JP says he chose the train because it was the one closest to the lift. Then he tells Takuya to leave him alone and then just says, oh, I'm just nervous.
That's a lot of things that are all contradictory.
Yeah. Then Izumi says that she got on because she thought it'd be interesting. And
hold on, wait a second. So you call some of them JP, some of them... So you've switched between English and Japanese. Do you have some that you stick with?
What do you mean?
You called Junpei JP?
Yeah, what I'm talking...
But you've also called Zoe Izumi.
Yeah, yes, that's because that's their names.
But they're in different... So, as I'm saying, it's like me with Cody and Yoli.
No, I know, I use them consistently depending on what version I'm talking about. If I'm talking about the original, I will say Junpei and Izumi.
That's much smarter than me.
But if I talk about the English version, I'll say JP and Zoe.
Oh god, it's so close to home. It's so close to home.
And you also, do you have those stacks of chocolate that keep on getting stolen by little rabbits and trains?
I was actually about to complain about that in the next episode.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll get to that when we get to that. So, anyway, Izumi says, oh, I got on because I thought it'd be interesting. And in the dub, Zoe says that she got on because it was the closest. So, this is also an interesting change that the question becomes something like, why did you get on the train in the original, to why did you get on this train in the dub?
I get that. I mean, why did you get on the train, though, is a really boring question.
No, because it's like... But it's like, why did you follow the SMS? Like, what was your reason? That's
not the same as getting on the train. Getting on the train is a decision that once you got off the elevator, there's a black nothingness, or there are trains.
Yeah.
Like, when she said it seemed interesting, the real answer is, it was the only thing. Let's see. Oh, and then Tomoki shows up.
Yeah, and he's small and sad, and he says he doesn't want to be here.
He just cries immediately.
In the dub, it's worse, however, because he's just whining about how kids are always picking on him instead of I don't know. I just feel like he was less annoying in the original version.
I only think he was less annoying in the original version because he's crying in a language we understand.
Okay.
And his whining is like is recognizable whining. That's where I come from because he was annoying in both. And then so the train takes off and they just get Digivices.
But before that, the train sort of hits something, and Takuya sees faint outlines around the other children. They're Digimon. He sees Digimon.
I didn't even notice.
Then his phone changes into a Digivice.
Here's a question for you. Why do all their Digivices match the clothing they're wearing?
Because that's how that works.
If they change clothes, will the Digivices change?
No, it must grab their information from what they're wearing at the moment.
Are you sure, or is it just the plot?
It's the plot.
Okay, as long as we establish that.
Yeah. In the dub, they're straight up called detectors, and they're stated as such.
Yeah, I've got that written down as like, how do they know that they're called that?
They were literally called it right now. It's by the phone voice. The phone voice says, "This is your detector."
Huh. I guess.
What?
I must have been late at night when I watched this.
Yeah. You don't know the difference between a train and a lift. You didn't hear...
No, but that's every day.
Yeah. Did you just accidentally get into a lift and say, okay, take me to Southern Cross Station?
Do you go into trains and say that?
Yes.
Who are you talking to?
So... It's not actually called the D-Scanner, which is its Japanese name in the original version. And I don't know, I found that interesting that they haven't actually called it the D-Scanner yet, but in the dub they called the detectors right away. Then we see some Poyomon outside, and Junpei says they look like birds. How?
Because they're flying. He's like, look, it's a bird, it's a plane.
Is it a pigeon?
It's a goo.
Zoe then asks if they go... In the dub, Zoe asks if they're ghosts. And JP thinks they might be marshmallows and how they go great with chocolate. Takuya then says that they're the ghosts of the kids who came to the digital world before them. Like, that's dark.
How? Why would anyone say anything like that ever?
Well, this is the second time he's mentioned ghosts.
Also, did he just say the digital world?
I can't tell if that was just me making notes. I'm pretty sure it was just me making notes.
Okay.
One of the Poyamon squishes itself against the train and scares Izumi.
It's a pretty great screenshot. You should look at it.
Yeah. Then, in the dub, when Trailmon arrives at the station, Zoe tries to make sure everyone knows that she wasn't scared, and then JP is sarcastic and scares how he always screams in terror when he's not scared, and Zoe says, boys, and this is just instead of silence.
Because she hates boys except when she wants to make out with them. Because that is her entire character.
Hopefully she gets more character than just that, though.
Good luck. No, she does. She says some words in Italian.
Yay.
That's a character.
And so we find out that this is called Trailmon, and he's actually a worm-type Trailmon.
Ew.
In the dub, he doesn't say what type he is, but he says that he's more handsome than the kids.
I mean, I guess he would think that. Most people think they're more handsome than, like, any given animal, but those animals probably think they're better-looking versions of themselves than the humans are. That's more than fair.
Yeah, you have a point there. So then Pugumon starts showing up, which is the Gazimon's baby form, and Junpei says they don't look like... they look pretty dangerous. And in the
They really don't.
Oh, they've got... If you saw that in real life, you'd be upset.
I'd boot them in the face. They would lose, because I'm not 11. You know what's weird? We're more than twice as old as these kids.
Oh, that's weird. In the dub, JP says he doesn't want any more friends. Trailmon then tells them to go and find the spirits. And Tomoki just starts screaming and runs off after Trailmon.
Get used to this.
Yeah, get used to this, just heads up. Then in the dub, instead of silence, JP says, where do I get the feeling that we're going to spend a lot of time running after the kid? And I'm just like, well, fair point, JP. Well done.
He's literally seeing the future. That is the next episode.
Then, because he's an idiot, Tomoki almost dies.
He, runs out onto the train tracks, which is suspended in the air of nothingness.
Yeah.
And he tries to balancing beam across it, which is a terrible idea when you have a head this giant.
Yeah. And in the dub, Tommy says that if he fell, at least he wouldn't be in the digital world anymore.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's very dark to come from a kid's show, though.
If he doesn't want to be in the digital world, you have to think about why he doesn't want to be there, right?
Yeah.
Is the answer because he's not with his family? Is the answer because it's really dangerous? Is the answer because it's really scary? What is the answer, right?
Yeah.
All of those answers, if he died, dying is the thing he's afraid of. It's just the digital world is like a midpoint to that. So dying isn't a solution.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you can imagine that dying would be a solution to would be boredom or unfamiliarity. And he's so averse to that. He doesn't care if he continues to live as long as he stops being here. He hates the digital. He doesn't like his life that much. He just hates it here.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I think he just wants to be looked at. I think he probably maybe misses his parents and he's not used to being away from them, or...
So he would rather die.
Yeah, basically.
What a well-written character.
Then some buildings explode and some Digimon run at him, and Bokumon talks with a Kansai dialect, and I found that interesting. And because he pretty much sort of has like the Tentomon character as he's the Digimon analyzer.
Is this the one with the beak?
Yep.
Okay, because there are two Digimon introduced. They're completely unique. You'll notice that every other Digimon in this show so far comes in swarms.
Yeah.
Except for these two.
Yep.
So there's one, and every other one, I guess besides the bad guy of this episode, have shown up in other Digimon seasons as well. On the trains. The trains don't count, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one with a beak. That's Bokumon.
Yep, Bokumon, yeah.
Beakmon, sure.
Yep.
And there's the thin, tall one.
Yeah.
One of them wears pants, and one of them has a belt.
Yes.
I'm not going to remember their names because they're not related to the kids. They're literally just hanging out with them because they're bored.
Yeah.
And that's most evident next episode when, the kids split up and the Digimon are like, well, I guess we'll go this way. Bye.
Yeah, so Nemon says that Bokumon thinks that everything's a human because Bokumon's like, oh, is that a human? Then something I noticed is that in the original, Bokumon has a high voice and Nemon has a deeper, slower voice. And in the dub, it's almost reversed. Nemon has this pathetic, whiny, high-pitched voice, and Bokumon has a nerdy, slightly deeper voice.
I mean, the whiny voice makes sense for the really thin character. I get that.
And also, he's meant to be the thick one. So we see that there's a Cerberumon, and it's also looking for the spirit. And Takuya runs after Tomoki and grabs him, and then they fall anyway, because why not? Then I found a really cute bit, which was Tomoki starts calling Takuya Nichan from this point, and it's so cute.
Have we talked about how Pokemon has a magnifying glass and finds answers when he gets asked questions?
Yes.
Like another Digimon series we've talked about.
Well, Gatchamon's not a Digimon, at least.
Yes, he is. Digimon Universe.
But he's an Appmon.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Just more directed. So there's Black Metal Garurumon.
Yep.
Who's attacking the town.
Cerberumon,
Let's not pretend it's anything other than Black Metal Garurumon, because that's what it is.
It evolves from Dobemon.
Also, how is it Cerberumon? Wait, does it have 3 heads? It only have 1 head, right?
No, he has the heads on his shoulders.
Oh, that's dumb, though. They weren't real heads.
Yeah. Takuya's Digivice finds the spirit, and then Takuya says that he wants to get the spirit so Tomoki can go home. And this is actually a really nice sort of bit where we have the Gogglehead that's being kind of compassionate and actually sort of like a leader. And he's actually pretty nice. So he grabs the pipe and he tries to fight the Cerberumon. And in the dub, he mentions how stupid this idea is.
And let's be real, it is.
That's fair enough. Well done. Then they both jump in the fire, which is also pretty dumb, and it starts burning Cerberumon, and Takuya isn't being burnt. He says spirit, and his Digivice comes to him. In the dub, he says ancient spirit, and then screams, spirit! And then the voice says, it is time. And then he says spirit evolution, or execute spirit evolution.
And keep in mind, there's a very complicated hand motion he has to do, totally intentionally.
Yep.
He has to do all that stuff himself.
And say spirit evolution.
No one taught him to do any of this.
No one told him to do it, yeah. No one told him to say it or to make the hand motion.
This is clearly based on in Tamers when they did the card slashes, so that they'd have these big motions. But those made sense because they'd slashed cards before.
Yeah.
So they had the idea of that. Then it was just a personal flair on it.
Yeah.
In this, though, he has to know all the stuff that's going on.
And Digimon is not a thing that they know of in this series.
Yes.
In Tamers, it was always like, oh, okay, so they know the show and they know the cards, so they have terms for things.
I think that all things considered, they're taking this digital world thing so well.
Considering
it's almost like they knew what Digimon were beforehand.
Yeah, considering an adventure when they're basically screaming and saying, what is this floating head? There's none of that.
Like, Tomoki's crying. Whatever, that's fine. But, like, pretty much everyone, especially Sasuke, just walk around and be like, huh, this is weird.
Neat.
I just think it's neat.
Yeah. So Agunimon shows up, and Bokumon has a book
it's kind of like biomerging,
yeah,
but with none of the stuff that makes biomerging even vaguely interesting.
So Bokumon has a book on spirits, and he says it's Agunimon of fire. In the dub, he flips through it, and he says,
Big and red, likes flame, not Santa Claus. Oh, Agunimon!
Okay, that was kind of funny. It got a chuckle out of me.
He's kind of like a search engine, this guy.
Shut up.
I wrote down my notes. A fight continues. I don't care.
Wow. Azumi says that Agunimon's like a pro, and Junpei looks really jealous. Agunimon falls into Cerberumon's dark area and starts attacking attacked. What?
He fell into his dark area.
That sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing.
Imagine if oh my god, in Yu-Gi-Oh! If the Shadow Realm was called the Dark Area. I will defeat you in this duel and send your soul to the Dark Area.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called in the Digimon card game, maybe. So Agunimon kicks Cerberumon with Salamando Break, and Izumi is very impressed. Then Agunimon says, this devil spirit, the Digivice will take. Digicode scan.
Are they always going to have a weird thing to say?
I don't know.
Because I know in the next episode they do.
But in the dub, he straight away says, now to take the fractal code. And then he says, fractal code, digitize. Which was so cool when I was a kid. But now when
the lamest thing in the
it's
world.
really lame. Now I'm an adult. I'm like, oh, wow. He's much better we said in the original.
Do you remember that whole season when we were taught that loading Digimon's data is really evil?
Well, now they're purifying it.
No, they were loading them.
No, this one they're purifying.
I'm pretty sure they
the Digitama's fine. Like, they get reborn at least. So, speaking of which, on to the next part, which was the Digitama, flies off. And Neimon says, oh, look, it's the Digitama flying off. In the dub, Neimon says, it's a pretty little light. And Bokumon explains that it's Cerberumon's essence, and that means they might be dealing with him later. So it's not that he's purified or anything, but he is.
But he was, but he wasn't. But also he was.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Takuya is amazed about becoming a Digimon, and in the dub, Takuya is wondering how he knew what to do and what he did. And that's actually a very good question. I'm glad they brought it up because I don't know that answer either. The Digivice voice then says that he's a chosen child and to not forget that he can't go back and he's in this by himself, which is kind of harsh. In the dub, she calls him a Digidestined, and how he's the one who chose him is him. Then we get Rika narrating the ending.
Which, I don't know what she says in the first one. I know in the second one she throws a lot of goggle heads around.
Yeah.
This is a Rika who did not pass the halfway mark of the season of Tamers. This is not Rika from the end.
Yeah.
But because she says Gogglehead, it's definitely Rika though. Because you know what, with Davis, you could have said that's a voice actor. It's a voice actor putting on a voice. It doesn't matter. This is Rika.
Oh yeah, this is 100% Rika.
But it's not the one from the end of the show.
No, it's when she's a bit, I don't know.
So what the
feisty.
hell?
Oh, she still says Gogglehead in the dub.
But she doesn't hate everyone the way she hates these guys.
Yeah.
I guess you did okay for a Gogglehead, I guess. She would never say that anymore by the end of the show.
Yeah, no, she said not bad for a Gogglehead.
Yeah, she wouldn't say that. She was friends. She liked Goggleheads. She got used to it.
Yeah. Even Kouji was a Gogglehead, though.
Stupid pineapple head.
Then in the English version, in the ending credits, the English ending spoils stuff that hasn't happened yet. And it's not even the stuff that the Japanese version had spoiled in the opening, so I just found that interesting.
I didn't watch it because you told me not to. Also because I would never watch it anyway because I always exit at the beginning of the credits.
I know, I just wanted to be safe. What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
It's really not that good. Like, okay, here's the thing. I think the setup with the digital world is vaguely interesting. You know, it's kind of in pieces, and you have to put it back together. But that also sounds exactly like the Dark Masters thing to me.
Yeah, it is.
So it's just that again. Also, what is in the last? We'll talk about Tamers, I guess. But what is the best thing about Digimon?
The partners.
Yeah. The best thing about Digimon, what was the thing I liked the most in Tamers? It was Terriermon. What was the thing that was like pretty much the best in 02? Was like Ken and Wormmon or like Vmon doing stuff.
Yeah.
What was the best thing in Adventure? It was like Gomamon.
Yeah.
And so what this season has decided to do is commit to none of the interesting stuff being around.
Yeah.
Minimize the number of characters, make the most of them human, I guess. I don't know what'll happen. But just like, okay, the way they will evolve and fight is to be humans who get battle suits. Great. I will say it solves one problem that Digimon always had, but Tamers tried and kind of failed to solve.
Oh?
Which is, why wouldn't Digimon just attack the kids? Because now the Digimon are the kids. So great.
So they just they attack everyone.
I'm looking at the show like the Digivices are the partners. I don't know. It's just, I'm thoroughly turned off by this idea because isn't the entire power fantasy of Digimon having a cool pet that fights?
I always thought so.
It was, and so they've taken the biomerging from Tamers, and they've said, okay, what do people love about that stuff? Oh, it was how the person fused with Digimon, and then they became one dude. And it's like, no, it isn't. The thing that was cool about biomerging was that the relationship between the kid and the Digimon was so strong they could act together.
Yeah.
And when they were together, they had like a joint personality. And what sort of thing do you get when you add those two personalities together? Like, if you take Jen and Terriermon, right? If you have someone who's completely gun crazy, and you also have someone who's completely solid, you get a robot who doesn't move very much, but has an arsenal that will murder everybody.
Yeah.
If you take, I don't know, I guess Rika just made Renamon more human, and more Japanese, I guess. But you take, like, Gilmon's, like, strength and stuff with Takado's idealized version of himself, and you get, like, Dukemon. What did you learn about Takuya? Oh, he liked fire.
And he's very bored in the English version.
Great. Also, I did notice, okay, if you hadn't told me it was Matt, I don't know if I would have noticed. However, most of the time, he puts on a voice that's like, he puts on the shonen main character voice, which I realized the difference is that they often are asking questions with whatever they're saying.
Uh-huh.
Whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
And that's sort of how he masks it. But if he says stuff like, oh man, I'm really bored, it's Matt. It's Matt immediately.
Yeah.
And I want him to die.
Oh no.
So I'm thinking this might be a very, very painful season.
Oh no, that's not a good way to think of something.
Get ready.
What did you rate the episode?
I don't know. It's like a 6.
I gave it a 7. I thought it was a really strong start.
Why? And also, it's really strong. Why is it a 7?
Because I like to give things a lower mark because I hope that the future episodes are better.
But what made it really good?
Well, I've never seen the original version, and the original version was just so much better than the dubbed version.
So what made it really good?
I
Was
just
it the trains? Do you really like trains?
I found it was enjoyable to watch.
Do you like the characters?
In the original, yes.
Really? Why?
I don't know, I find them just kind of genuine.
The only even vaguely enjoyable thing that made me go like, is also something that like I didn't really enjoy because they're 11, which is Junpei being like, go away, kid. Whoa, girl, hey! Like, that was something. But also, hey, the fat guy has a big stash of chocolate. Awesome. That's definitely not an annoying cliche.
No. What was the major difference between the Japanese and the English version?
That's besides Matt's voice, which was really, really distracting. I don't know. I guess that they get told that it's a detector really early. I really thought they would, that's the next episode. Yeah, the detector thing is the one I guess I really noticed.
See, the one I noticed was and I'm noticing this in the next episode as well, the characters were just so much worse.
I feel like they were bad originally, and it was just the same again, but in English. Like, nothing really changed. Their characters are pretty thin. What did you learn about Izumi in this episode?
She's a girl. She speaks Italian.
No, but in Japanese.
She's a girl. She speaks Italian.
Does she speak Italian in the Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Is she going to say perfecto?
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know.
She should. Tomoki... Okay, here's what we learned about the characters. Tomoki cries a lot. Oh, God. Izumi is a girl.
Yeah.
And she's Italian. Junpei... Okay, Junpei's probably got the most characterization in that he is fat, and so he likes candy and has a lot of candy. And he likes girls. And he also... And we learn in the next episode that he's unmotivated. So we actually know a lot about him.
He's really relatable.
Oh, it's actually really annoying.
Yeah.
And Takuya is a protagonist, I guess. And Blue Man Group is Sasuke.
Yeah.
So I didn't know his name, so I did just call him Blue Man Group in all of my notes.
Well, you'll learn his name now because we will talk about it in the next episode.
No, his name is Blue Man Group.
His name is not Blue Man.
Blue Man Group.
When the second episode starts, I noticed that I really, really like the flashback music in the original version. I just feel like it's really dramatic and it's just really, like, funky. It's kind of groovy. I like it. And then, of course, in the dub, Rika narrates the previously on part and says that Tommy wanted to go home, but he chose a really stupid way of doing so, which, yeah, she has a point. And then she says, not bad for a gogglehead, and I'm so happy that she says that.
Why? We just explained how that's dumb.
No, I love it. So the other children are pretty amazed by the evolution, and Bokumon explains what evolution is. Then Takuya starts pressing buttons on the Digivice and says, let me evolve. In the dub, he says different things like Digivolution mode activate and similar sort of things to that. Then he returns the Digicode by mistake, and that restores the area back to normal. And it kind of reminds me of the Dark Masters world when they wrecked everything, so you're pretty spot on with that.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
In the dub, the voice on the Digivice says, fractal code render.
You know, they wouldn't have to have given the Digivice a voice if they just had partner Digimon.
Yeah. Okay, so I see your point about how the Digivice is the partner now. When they start running to see what the fractal code returning has done, in the dub, there's some pretty stupid lines.
Nice going, my human friend. By the way, I'm Bokumon, keeper of the book at your service.
And I'm Namon, keeper of my pants, also at your service, you awesome human.
The one thing I really like about Pokemon is when he holds up the book and he's always like, behold!
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I have a book!
Junpei calls Izumi-chan, so I guess he likes her.
Well, that was obvious.
Yeah.
She's a girl.
Yeah, basically. In the dub, this is changed to JP asking why they're running, and that's fair.
So they're running, and Junpei just like pulls Tomoki aside from behind, and they just.
I know. A bit before that, Bokumon starts explaining about how Cerberumon caused the world to be that way, and how the Digicode is needed to, destroy Cerberumon and restore the digital world. In the dub, Namon continually interrupts Bokumon's explanation about how there were birds and butterflies. Then Junpei pulls Tomoki aside.
And he says, hey kid, you wanted to get out of here? And Tomoki's like, you know what? I thought about it for a second, cried a lot, and then I realized when he turned into a Digimon, that was kind of cool. So maybe I should do that too. He's like a big hero.
Yeah.
And Junpei says, he says, like, that's not worth it, kid. Being cool's not worth it. You should survive.
He said the heroes aren't cool and they're too strict.
Well, in the English, the wording is more like, take it from me, I would know being a hero is not all it's cracked up to be. It's like, is he saying he was a big old hero?
Yeah,
'Cause
basically.
not.
He's saying how it's so much work and overrated.
And then, we didn't talk about the line you must have... I was sure you would talk about this line.
No, that's because you were talking about Junpei pulling Tomoki aside and I didn't want to interrupt. So, in the dub, Zoe starts wondering if she can evolve too. And Takuya says that maybe girls aren't meant to Digivolve. And I'm just like, wow, where'd that come from?
It's your favourite season.
Where's this bit? No, I never said Frontier was my favourite.
It's your favourite. Isn't Savers? Is that right?
No, I said that Savers overrated. I'm not sure what my favourite season is.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Maybe I will by the end of the time we finish Digimon on the podcast.
Is your favourite season the one you spent the most money on?
That's technically Adventure.
Aha, that's decided.
Because of Try. Try hurts. And, so yeah. And then we see what Kouji's doing, and he's on the other train, and he starts talking to his Digivice.
Because it's his partner.
Yeah. And a map pops out the screen. Back to Junpei. Junpei's asking Pugumon to tell them how to get home. Junpei offers Pugumon chocolate in return for information. Pugumon tells them that there's a train station that they'll need to go to, and they can get home.
There's a huge problem when you say he trades Pugumon chocolate. It sounds like you're saying he trades Pokemon chocolate. Yeah, he has very untrustworthy eyes. The fact that they believe anything this Pugumon has to say is shocking.
It's the same in Adventure when they trust the Pugumon.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
And it seems that in the dub, Pugumon says he just wants to get more chocolate. In the original, it's kind of more vague, and he just looks like he's going to attack them. Kouji's there, and he wonders what they're doing, but then says it's none of his business. In the dub, Kouji says whatever they're doing is just an accident waiting to happen, and he doesn't want to be their babysitter.
That's fair enough. That's, I guess, in character for him.
Yeah. Junpei keeps on trying to trade chocolate, and it goes straight to the Trailmon's mouth because it's stealing it. Then Trailmon speeds off to find more chocolate.
Which is weird because the Pokemon established that this guy has more chocolate on sight without knowing. So the train, who's presumably a much higher level Digimon than they are, should be much better at acquiring that chocolate if he wanted to. Or eating the kids.
Yeah. In the dub, he just speeds off with explanation, but I really like the imagery of, in the original, how he speeds off and says, I'm off to get more now.
If this show is anything to be believed, Junpei should taste like chocolate at this stage.
Yeah.
His blood is 90% melted chocolate.
Pugumon comes back with more Pugumon, and they want chocolate, so they all attack. Back to Takuya, he finally realises that they're missing Tomoki, and Izumi realised Junpei isn't there either. Then in the dub, Neimon speculates they got eaten by big ol' bears.
Okay, here's an important question for you.
Yep.
How does Neimon know what a bear is?
What a big ol' bear is.
No, it's not a bearmon, it's a bear. So that there are two possibilities. A, he knows about the real world. How's that possible?
I have no
idea. And B, there are actually bears in the digital world.
That's a very good question. Then Bokumon asks a passing Poemon if they saw the other humans.
I actually really like this bit. Just like oh hey guys, have you seen this thing? Like, just really casual.
Yeah.
It gives a different feeling to this digital world than most others.
Then Poemon says that they were with the Pugumon, and Neimon says that they're worse than bears.
That's not true. That is not true. We know this because Kouji / Blue Man Group can fight off a horde of Pugumon. He could not fight off a bear.
That's fair.
That's bear.
Oh no. Kouji then finds
bear with me.
Kouji then finds a tunnel, and then back to Tomoki and Junpei. Tomoki's tapping at his Digivice and trying to evolve. Pugumon end up finding them, and then they fall through a hole. Tomoki loses his Digivice.
Which, I don't think he ever gets back.
No, Takuya gets it, I think.
Oh, that's lame. I don't remember it. I was like, that's a cool hanging thread that could be used later. That is now gone.
Bokumon and Neimon walk off when they fight when Izumi and Takuya are looking for the others.
They're just like, yeah, whatever, we're gone now, bye.
And in the dub, they were talking about how the forest is so peaceful, and it used to be more peaceful, except there's all these screaming kids now. And then they realised when they lost the kids that they have to follow the noise, and that's when they walk off, instead of just walking off and say, oh well. Takuya says that he wants to bring Tomoki back to the real world because he must only be in the 3rd grade. In the dub, Takuya says that it's dangerous for him to be there without his parents, and they should keep an eye on him.
Isn't it dangerous for them to be there without their parents?
Yeah, because they're only a few years older. Izumi says, what type of man are you trying to be? In the dub, Zoe says that it's adorable that he's pretending to be mature. Then Izumi says that she thought that he was younger than 11, because that means that they're the same age. Takuya says that he's born in August, and I'm betting it's August 1st, knowing Digimon.
What?
And Izumi says she's older because she's born in May.
Also, did you notice that he's from the 6th grade instead of the 5th?
Yeah, Digimon
English.
in the dub always aged up their characters. Then they fall down the hole, and Izumi starts slapping Takuya for starting funny business. In the dub, when they land, Zoe says that she's so happy to be alive she could kiss Takuya, and then she starts hitting him for no reason.
Because she's embarrassed. So, in the Japanese, there's a whole discussion about, like, the terms he used. Like, he used ore instead of something.
No, he used omae, which is a very informal way of saying you.
And she's like, how dare you be informal with me? I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it. Maybe she was a little flustered, whatever.
Yeah.
And the other one, she's just embarrassed about the things she said.
Yeah.
And so it's totally on her, and she's upset about it. So she went from a nervous girl to a crazy girl.
Yep. And Zoe's also yelling about how Takuya keeps on calling her girl instead of Zoe, when in the original version it's just saying, hey, how dare you say Omae? Use Kimi or use my name. It's a perfectly cute name.
Kimi's not a name.
Kimi is you. Then back to Junpei and Tomoki, they're lost, and Tomoki starts crying again.
Yay.
Junpei gives him chocolate, and this is where I came up with a theory, that Junpei's not actually fat, it's just all these stashes of chocolate.
He's actually a skinny dude who's just wearing a balloon full of chocolate. Proved even further later on in the episode.
Pokemon shows up, and then Junpei throws so many blocks of chocolates to distract them.
No, I thought they piled onto him and they, fell out.
Oh, no, I thought that he throws them. Oh.
I don't know. Why would he throw them? That's not in his personality. He would have done that already.
Good point.
Also, he's fat and he loves food. Why would he do that?
Pokemon attack, but in the dub, they said they want to eat the humans, which is kind of dark.
Also stupid. They want to eat the chocolate. Can I just say right here, as a man of carriage, to speak gently of the point,
Yep.
we don't carry around 17 blocks of chocolate wherever we go.
Really?
We
sure?
We just don't.
Oh.
You've known me for 3 years. You know that's not true.
You should.
No. It's really stupid. And I don't know why. Oh, it's a kid's show. He's got one defining feature and it's his size. So screw it. Why not?
Then Kouji shows up and he's got to fight the Pokemon with the pole. And there's a lot of pole fighting in this show so far.
It looks like that scene in Matrix Revolutions when Neo's fighting all the Mr. Smith.
Yep.
It looks exactly like that. In fact, there's that bit where they all pile onto him and he punches one off with a thing.
Yep.
It's stolen directly.
Pokemon says that he's going to destroy them, and then he evolves to Cerberumon. This is when Izumi starts speaking Italian, and I noticed that this part in particular, she speaks a lot of Italian, but the subtitles keeps on saying random Italian gibberish.
I like that.
Instead of actually saying, what she's saying in Italian, or even, trying to transcribe it, it's saying, spouting random Italian garbage.
There's a possibility that they just don't know Italian and can't be bothered translating it, or it could just be random selections of Italian words. Is this in the Japanese?
Yeah.
It is much more likely that it's just a random assortment of Italian-sounding sounds.
How do you think you tell that to one of your voice actors? So, okay, so you're speaking, but also, do you know any Italian? No? Well,
that's where it fails.
No worries, here's some Italian.
Because maybe they do know Italian.
Right.
In my perspective of the world, because English is so ubiquitous, is that people speak two languages. They speak their home country's language and English. But people can speak whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Obviously that rule is not broken, but so much as it's flexible for Europe, where Europe is the home country, so there's a lot of languages to learn.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I've always been fascinated by the idea of very foreign languages speaking in other very foreign languages and seeing how they interact. What does German sound like with a Japanese accent? And I guess you get
watch Neo
bits
Genesis
of it
Evangelion.
in Evangelion, but only little bits. What is I don't know. What does Russian sound like for what's it called? A Mandarin speaker. That would be really cool.
I feel like a lot of European languages would be quite I feel challenging for Japanese because the sounds are so different.
European languages are challenging for everyone. Hungarian was described to me as trying to speak with marbles in your mouth.
That's great. Do you know any Hungarian?
My family?
I said Hungarian as in the language, not Hungarian as in people.
No.
And do you know any Polish?
No.
Okay.
I never bothered with any of that crap.
See, I know my background's language.
Yeah,
it's English.
and Aussie, mate.
Well, I mean, Cockney rhyming slang, I guess. But
that's not a language.
Even though no one in my family's Cockney.
So that's not yours then?
Well, it's English.
So Cerberumon shows up and spits acid everywhere in an attempt to kill them, which I mean, I applaud the attempt to murder the children, but at the same time, there are no Digimon in the way to fight, so what else would they even do?
So during this time, Takuya's trying to evolve, and then just by like pure plot convenience, he's able to he's unable to evolve. Like I'm pretty sure it's just silly because considering he can evolve later on, it's just I don't know.
Wait, is this the one where he doesn't know what the exact motion for evolution is?
Even though he already did it, which I think sounds silly because like surely if you're able to do it once without being told what to do, like you're able to do it again.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not like okay, fine, he doesn't like know exactly how he started or whatever. Maybe he doesn't know where the muscle memory came from, but his eyes saw it.
Yeah.
He knows he has to swipe the thing on his arm. Why is he mashing a button on it?
Well, I think that he just thinks that's how.
I wonder if that button actually does anything. I doubt it.
All the buttons do anything on the Digivice toy.
Great.
So, Kouji is carrying Tomoki, and so far I'm just noticing that this show has just been, let's rescue Tomoki and carry him around, even though we're only like 2 or 3 years older than him.
What else would you do with small children? They definitely wouldn't have powerful Digimon that could help them and like balance it up for the rest of the team.
Yeah, like he doesn't have the Patamon. He's not like...
It doesn't have the Angelwoman.
Yeah. Then Raremon keeps saying in the original version that he wants to take them to hell, and I really like that in the original. There's always like the bad guys always say, "I'm going to take you to hell" or something. It's rather dark.
That doesn't make any sense. He just wanted chocolate.
Yeah, and now he wants to kill them, but that's fine.
No, it's not. That's totally inconsistent.
So again, because of plot convenience, Takuya yells "Spirit," and now he can evolve.
Oh, but he only evolves for like 3 seconds.
Yep. Well, I literally have it in my notes. One line is Takuya yells "Spirit," and now he can evolve, I guess. And then the next one is Takuya changes back. All right. So that was like nothing happened in between there. There was some fighting, but yeah, he de-evolved. So it's very plot convenient down this plot hole, if you will.
Oh boy, God, is this the plot hole?
And then Kouji falls down a hole, and light shines.
He falls down the plot hole.
It's legitimately a hole of plot.
Because it just happens to have the spirit in it. It's like, it made sense, kind of, for them to stumble upon the first one, because it was on like a little altar thing, and the Wolfmon was around to get it, and like, it was in an area they ran to because there was calamity happening.
Yeah.
There's all these different factors that led them to Agunimon or whatever. This one, they were there by accident, and he fell down a hole.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was it.
Yep, the plot hole. So, yeah, he finds a spirit, and then I really like the effect when they first see their spirit, where they see the silhouette, or like I guess a ghost, maybe?
I don't like this. I actually don't like it.
I think it's really nice.
They see a suit of armor. And it's
No, I'm talking about when they see like the ghost of the actual Digimon they're about to evolve into, and they sort of walk into
cares?
it. I care so much, Jay.
Oh, actually, I forgot to mention. So, obviously on the Digivice, that Blue Man group has a map.
Yeah.
Which is obviously leading him to his spirit. So, whatever. But even if it led him all the way here, it's at the bottom of a hole. He would never have gone to get it, because he can't see it, and he would clearly think he would die.
Yeah.
So, the only way he could ever have gotten it is by being knocked down there by a bad guy.
Yes.
That's the plot holiest crap ever.
Yeah. This episode should just be called Wolfmon of Light, the Underground Plot Hole. See what I did there? Instead of Labyrinth, it's Plot Hole.
That was, what do you mean labyrinth? It's a spherical room with no walls.
Well, that's what it's called. That's what they called it.
Oh, it might be where the two bigger people, where Junpei and Tomoki got lost. That's probably right.
So yeah, he becomes Wolfmon or Lobomon in the English version.
Which I don't know about you. Is this just a high-tech furry cosplay?
Oh yes, it is.
It's like, or alternatively, it's a like humanized metal Garurumon cosplay.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Those are 1-to-1. Like, this thing is fan fiction embodied.
Yeah.
It's actually a little embarrassing.
Oh, well, yeah. I think he looks pretty cool. He's got like a lightsaber. That's pretty cool.
Look, you're allowed to be wrong.
No, I'm not.
The interesting with having 2 lightsabers, is this going to have like a Sword Art Online moment where they're all surprised he can dual wield?
So this time, Junpei thinks it's cool, instead of being so salty and jealous about the evolution, which is really weird, because it's sort of very similar to the way Takuya evolved, but he was like all jealous and upset when Takuya evolved, but now all of a sudden Kouji evolves, he's all like, oh, he looks so cool.
No, but you have to remember, Koji's really cool.
Yeah. So Wolfmon's using German attacks.
Oh, and what's her name? Zoe says it's the most beautiful thing she has ever seen.
Yeah, and in the original she speaks Italian.
Great.
And, so good luck me ever trying to remember any of his attacks because they're all in German. And I can't pronounce or remember them.
And then he says, "The spirit of darkness, the light will save!"
So during this whole time, the detector, when he's doing the fractal code thing, the detector makes a really old telephone noise in the English version.
Yeah, it has, when it's silent, it makes, like, a weird buzzing radio noise in the back. I guess internet noise makes more sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the old dial-up noise.
But it would be totally quiet in the Japanese, but they just have to put in noise. Even when it's not saying anything, just this tone in the background that's really annoying.
Also, about the English version has the annoying noise.
It does, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you said Japanese.
The Japanese was silent.
Oh, okay.
English
sorry.
included the thing.
I misheard you, yeah. So when he says, this light will save digicode scan, in the English version, he just says fractal code digitize.
This light will save!
Yep, and it will, because he's the spirit of light. I'm not sure if it actually said that at all, but he's the spirit of light, BT dubs.
Is that his crest?
They're not crests in this version, they're spirits.
Does Takuya have the crest of fire?
Yes, he has the crest of fire.
He's got the crest of kayfabe heat.
Oh my god. So, Takuya then apologizes after the fight, and Kouji says how don't touch him because
Does he look like he's crying before that happens?
He looks a bit emotional, but I don't feel like he's crying. I think it took a lot out of him. So he says that he hates strangers touching him, which is fair enough. In the English version, Kouji says he doesn't need Takuya or anybody's help. He's very grumpy.
Well, before that, he's like, "My name is Kyoji. What's your name?" And so in Japanese, Takuya immediately answers, and they have a whole thing, and it's very simple exchange. But for whatever reason, in English they have this long pause, and then Kyoji just goes again. "No, seriously, what's your name? Stop being so rude and tell me."
Yeah.
And it's it's Takuya. It's just so weird and out of place because you feel like they're playing around with the timing of certain things.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
So then Kouji walks off and says, "See you later." And he's kind of he's a quiet person, so he's not super rude, but
so
it's still
he's a Sasuke.
It's a bit introverted, I guess. But in the English version, he's just rude. He's like, "Oh, whatever. I don't need your help," and sort of walks off.
It's not like I wanted to kiss you or anything, Babaka.
Then we see Kouji sitting on a tree, and he's watching the Poemon fly away, and he's just thinking about how interesting this is going to be, and he's like, what's going to happen?
In the Japanese, he does.
Yeah, in the dub, he just does not say anything.
They just dub over him with the narrator.
Yeah.
Who's Rika?
Which is fine, because I love Rika. I'm all for Rika talking more than any of the other characters in this show. What do you think of this episode as someone who is new to Digimon?
It was full of plot holes, and
literal plot holes.
Yeah, and it involved a stupid story about a fat guy with lots of chocolate. But
Dory, he's not fat. It's just his chocolate taking up space in his jumpsuit, Jay.
Well, he's got a lot left.
Yeah, he's got a lot of chocolate.
And and then it involved Tomoki crying a lot, and Zoe's only personality trait is
Italian.
Is Italian.
Yep.
So that begs the question, who was writing this? What happened to the Tamers writers? Are they dead?
Well, Kanaka's not working on this.
Is he dead?
No, dude's still alive, I'm pretty sure.
This feels... I don't want to overstep this, because I don't know. Some people obviously like this, and maybe it'll pick up and improve. But I really, because of Tamers and Appmon and Tri, I had forgotten how bad Digimon was, really.
Oh, jeez.
At, the heart of it, this is bringing back 02 to me. I forgot how unenjoyable this show was.
Well, it's at least, we look on the bright side, Digimon got good enough that you actually felt that it was good.
It was good for a while. It was really hard to criticize. I really felt like I was nitpicking a lot of Tamers.
That's good. It's good to nitpick.
And I was like, oh well. And I wondered for a good long while, has my immersion therapy in these shows actually made me appreciate them in some way? And then I watched Frontier, and everything goes wrong. The characters are boring. They took out all the best bits of the other seasons. It's set in a weird world that's full of trains for no reason, besides the theming, I guess. The basic quest of restoring the world is pretty good, but I don't know who the bad guy is yet, and you know what? It's Cerberumon. It was from that movie that was really bad, so I'm not sure I have the most faith in that.
I promise Digimon Savers will make it up to
And so,
Don't worry, they have Digimon and Digimon Savers.
and
It's fine.
I just don't know. Like, I forgot how much I could dislike this.
Well, that's not a good way to get into a new season.
And here we are. It's 2 episodes into Frontier, and oh god, this sure is the desert of the Wild West we have to trudge across before we can reach California.
Yep.
That's what the Frontier was.
Oh, I get it. But hopefully you'll enjoy Savers because they have partners in Savers.
Oh my god. I have to wait. How long does it take to get through a season?
I think
half a year?
Yeah, half a year. Well, I already made the schedule.
Yeah, I know. I don't read them.
Aww.
Why would I read them? You would tell me.
I emailed it to you.
Yes, so what?
I think it's like July or August we start Savers in.
Oh my god, there's crumbs everywhere.
So, I thought this episode felt like more of the same compared to like the first episode. The fight was shorter, but I feel like there was a lot more like... I didn't find it as good. As for rating, I gave it a 6 out of 10. So it's 1 point less than the first episode, which I found the first episode to be a strong start. This episode was sort of like more of the same for the first episode. Okay, they're doing some things. They find some Digimon. They find the spirit. An evil Digimon is fighting there. They fight them. They use a pole. Then they get the spirit. Everyone thinks it's cool. Everyone who doesn't have a spirit is just staying there watching.
I think the good and the bad in this episode weigh precisely equally to the point where this has earned its 5.
Oh, well, at least it's not less than a 5, right?
Well, it wasn't offensive, except for the fat people jokes.
What was the major difference between the Japanese and the English version?
God, give me a moment. What have you got?
So what I've got is, again, the characters are just horrible in the dub.
Oh, yeah, no, it's the Zoe I could just kiss you bit.
Oh, yeah, no, that
because that totally changes her motivation for being angry.
Yeah, that particular part, like, she's more upset with him for being rude and, holding on to her, except for in the dub it seems like she's holding on to him, and she's just... And I want to say it's because of the whole, heck, aren't girls crazy? You don't know what they're doing. They always change their minds sort of thing.
They're not allowed to have Digimon.
Yeah, it's a very... gender was terrible in this episode. It was, first of all, Takuya saying out of nowhere in the English version how, maybe they weren't... girls aren't meant to become Digimon. I'm like, you're saying that out of nowhere, Takuya. And then when we get to the falling down scene, where it's just more like a very Japanese, like, how dare you, like, hold on to me and be clingy and then use Amaya instead of Kimi. It's very rude, just use my name.
Well, she held on to him.
In the dub, she held on to him.
And she held on to him in both.
I know, but it's more like they were holding on to each other.
Yeah.
But she was still embarrassed, but she also said that it was the fact that he keeps on calling her Amaya.
Well, one is her being generally flustered, and like finding nitpicking stuff he did, whatever. The other one is her making a huge misstep that she's unhappy with, and then her shame makes her take that out on him. There's a difference.
I'm going to give everyone a bit of a Japanese lesson. Yay, Japanese! Japanese with me!
Move on.
No, okay, so, Omae is made up of O and Maye. O is sort of like a very old way to put before something, like we have Otosan, which is, father, and we have O-sushi to describe sushi. So it's sort of like something you put at the start of the sentence. It's very, like, archaic in that way. And then Maye, which literally is the kanji for front, or, something's in front, like, your first name is Na Maye, Na meaning name, and Maye meaning, like, front or first.
Okay.
So, Omae is literally, like, front. So it's a person who's in front of you. So basically it's effectively pointing.
It's you.
It's effectively pointing and going, Omae, it's pointing in front of you. It's you. It's very... So a character like Daisuke uses Omae a lot because it's quite rude.
Or you.
It's basically like the Australian equivalent is oi to refer to someone. It's not even you. It's like a point. It's saying you, oi, and pointing is considered very rude. So to use Omae to someone you don't know, and especially like Izumi feels like she should be respected because she's
3 months older than him.
So she feels like she's older than him. She's taller than him because it's at that age where girls are taller than men, and girls have already started maturing in a way, like, and men haven't by then.
Yeah, we don't usually until about 45.
Yeah. And, so that's just a bit of quick Japanese. Omae, it's very rude. And Kimi is just sort of, it's more polite.
That's not even her name, though. Her name's Zoe.
Oh, I get it. But yeah, she also says, you just use my name. Izumi is a perfectly cute name. And then Takuya is just mean about it. So, yeah, quick Japanese lesson with me. Yay. So another overall difference that I noticed that was through, as I said, in the first episode and the second episode, is that characters are horrible. They haven't In the English version, they're horrible. They're sort of more reasonable in the original. Like, it still gives them some room to develop, but it's almost like in the English version, they really want them to develop. And I hope they actually do super improve them, because otherwise we'll see, like, some substantial growth in the English version, or they just won't change. And I can't remember how much they actually develop.
Good luck!
Because this is my first time actually thinking about watching Digimon, rather than just watching it because it's Digimon. Because I'm trying to be, like, as critical as possible, and yeah, the characters are pretty rubbish in the English version.
They're pretty rubbish in the original too. Just less.
Through us, let your spirit evolve over to overall episode opinions.
Is that even a joke?
Yes, it's a reference to the English opening, yeah?
Hey, references aren't jokes.
I thought it was funny.
Without a punchline, nothing's a joke.
I find it funny.
Well, that's great. You didn't laugh.
So, what's your overall opinion on how Frontier is shaping out? I know you said a bit, but do you have any more depth you want to get into?
I'm not happy with it. Honestly, after watching 2 episodes of this, I would never watch it again if I didn't have to.
Which is a bad way to start a show. I feel like you should
Oh boy!
I personally found that the first episode was a strong start. But I feel like everyone should think it's a strong start.
I think the first 5 minutes were a strong start.
Like, it should draw you in. Like, after 2 episodes, you should say, hey, I want to know what happens in the 3rd episode. You should be anxious to know more.
I don't care. I don't care about any of these kids. I don't care about the digital world. I don't care about any of these Digimon. You know what? As much as it's already been done, they need to have this moment where they're seeing the digital world and going like, whoa. Not, hey, this place is weird, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, we're already at home because we already know what Digimon are, even though they don't exist and we don't have that backup like in Tamers. I feel like the writers just assume that because the audience knows, the kids know.
Like, everyone took everything rather well. Like, remember in Adventure, they were all screaming and running around for basically the whole episode.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah?
Did anyone ever tell the kids that the creatures were called Digimon?
I don't know. I want to say maybe the Digivice of Exposition did, which, guess what? That's basically what the Digivice is this season.
Great.
So
Isn't
far.
that super enjoyable? All exposition is taken care of by a machine in their hands?
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Like, it's not even like a character, like, that just comes along and says, it was because of a prophecy.
Wouldn't it be great if in movies, instead of having, like, conversations or showing stuff or doing really anything that tells you about people's backgrounds, instead, characters had a box strapped to their hip that sometimes the camera would zoom in on and it would just say stuff. And would just explain things to you in long diatribes for no reason.
I'd just like to point out to the listeners that I know things and I'm not trying to lead Jay on by saying anything. So if you're thinking, why hasn't May mentioned this? Or, man, May seems like not that they don't remember this part. I do remember this part, so please do not send me a message saying, but you forgot about this. I'm like, yes, I know, but this hasn't happened yet.
If it's Tomoki dying, then I'm okay with that. Do they take his hat off and it reveals his big pulsating brain underneath?
That's beautiful.
No, it's not. It's horrifying.
So what do you think about the fact that all the kids effectively start useless? No one has like a little boom bubble or whatever to do, or even Baby Flame. There's just...
They do. They can swing a pole.
Yeah, they can swing a pole. It's basically... Which I like. Even though... Because there are no Digimon, but the kids themselves are trying to fight. And that's fine.
What we've established of the power level of Digimon is that this is pointless.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, great. Blue Man Group did a good job standing up against a bunch of babies. I could fight a bunch of babies. Me!
Yeah.
I have no formal fighting training.
Yeah, but you're not 11, you don't have a pole.
If I did, I'd beat up a bunch of babies.
Yeah, you would. So what's your thought on spirit evolution?
I said it earlier in the episode. It's like biomerging without any of the stuff that made that interesting.
I think, look, a lot of people said, oh, I'm not going to watch this season as soon as they saw the first episode because they became Digimon and they didn't have partners.
I feel that.
I watched a bit of it, but I feel like it wasn't on. It was on at a weird time in Australia, so I never actually watched it until I downloaded the whole season when I want to say, like, I think I was in year 8, and yeah, I watched it for the first time then, which is quite late. It was like already Savers was coming out at this point, and I feel like I only watched it because it was Digimon. But yeah, it didn't, throw me away or anything. But I feel like that's because of my devotion to Digimon. But at this point, when I was that age, I was feeling I was far too old for Digimon because I was 14 or 13, depending on. I was 14. It was the end of year 8.
Sweet guilty pleasure, Batman.
Yeah, but of course I knew about the detector and the characters because of the detector, the toy toy that I got when I was 10. So that was 4 years prior, without knowing anything about the show, basically. And that was my introduction to the show. And of course, I mentioned this before, but Cerberumon was Kirpymon in the Digivice.
Kirpymon.
Because of mistranslations. So Kirpymon was Kirpymon for a long time, and I just don't know why, but I always find that really funny. Anyway, so do you have any predictions for future evolutions? And can you guess what the other kids' spirits are going to be?
I don't know what you really mean here, because, like, we've seen them in the intro.
I know, but what elements do you think they are?
I know that, like, Tomoki becomes a little baby thingy-baby, and, I don't know, he becomes, like, Earth, and probably, and Junpei's thing is that he has, like, he gets kind of like a samurai gimmick, and I'm guessing his is lightning, and then she gets like a fairy thing, and I'm guessing hers is like the air.
You got 2 of those right. I'm not going to say which ones.
I'm genius.
Alright, so what are your thoughts on the characters so far? Takuya?
I hate them. Takuya's the best one, but I couldn't really tell you that much about him.
What about Kouji?
He's Sasuke, and you know who I hate?
Sasuke,
I hate Sasuke.
Yeah. Tomoki? Do I have to ask?
He cries all the time. If I could boot his stupid head and his stupid hat like a football, and so it would go in one way and his body went the other way, I would.
So, I can't remember, but did you like Takeru from Adventure?
In the end, I did,
but
I didn't initially.
I can't remember, but I don't think you hated him this viscerally.
But also, he had Matt to calm him down.
And he also had Patamon.
Yeah. This is why the partners are so good, that they can, like, temper this and give them something else to do.
And they also, like, sort of, they have sort of, like, these special discussions between the two, and now we don't have that. I guess maybe we'll have more, human character interaction, but I don't know.
No, we're probably just going to have a lot of, like, thought processes, where it just, like, goes, like, I'm thinking this right now, bloop, 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 I'm so sad.
What about Izumi?
I don't know. She's so bland, I forget she exists.
She's Italian and she's a girl, that's her character.
Great. Awesome.
What about Junpei?
I'm offended.
You're offended?
I'm offended by his characterization.
Well, remember, he's not actually fat, he just has a stash of chocolate.
That's not true. It's not true, he's fat. He's fat and he has a big stash of chocolate. He has... Okay, let's be real here. We see 6 full chocolate bars, and it is implied that is not all he has on him.
Yeah.
We see 6 in the course of this episode.
Them?
Yes.
Because you were hungry?
He eats one, he trades one to the Pagumon, he trades one to the train, and 3 fall out of him when he's attacked. 3 full ones. Why does he have all this on him? What was he doing? Did he just rob a candy store before showing up in the digital world?
Yes, he did. What are your overall hopes for the season so far?
That it gets any better. God.
Well, that's a decent hope. That's legitimate. Was it better or worse than expected?
Way worse. Oh my god, it was bad.
So, in this season so far, we've had quite a few parallels to Appmon. So, we've had the phone question yes or no answer, Pokemon has a magnifying glass, the evil Digimon needs to be purified, and there's the lone wolf who wants to work alone and doesn't want to work at all with the children. He just wants to find out to get home, but he doesn't want to work alongside the children.
That one's a bit of a stretch, but sure.
No, because,
No, I get it. It's the emo one.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't want help. I'm going to leave now.
What's the question?
I'm just saying, do you have any others? Like, do you want to go to discuss Appmon
I'm just
at all?
saying, you
like
know what?
Appmon?
Good on Appmon for salvaging whatever it could from this.
Do you think it's just a retelling?
No, just salvaging the elements it wanted to use because no one's going to remember.
Yeah, no point. Okay. For Screenshot of the Week, I have the part where Junpei says, are they birds? And I also found the parallel with the very old meme, well, not very old, it's like maybe a couple of years old. It's just a pigeon, and it's an anime screenshot, and he's looking at a butterfly, and I find that the most beautiful thing ever.
And mine was just a bit after that, when the ghosty things, one of them presses itself up against the window and scares the crap out of Zoe. It's great.
So, riddle me this. What if they just stole some Poyamon and said, these are our partners now?
I don't know. They hadn't thought about it because they're all dumb.
I would say, this is mine now. I will have Angemon, and he is the best.
Well, you wouldn't know that's a thing because Digimon wouldn't exist in that world.
Well, they sure are handling the concept of Digimon fairly well.
They're doing a good job of that.
What do you think about the Digimon introduced in these episodes? First of all, we have Cerberumon.
I don't know. It's a big black metal Garurumon.
He evolves from Dobermon, by the way. I think I mentioned. And I don't care. What about Pokemon?
It's cute, I guess. The one with the beak, right?
Yeah.
Really thought that was a partner Digimon. It looked a bit weird, but I would have accepted it. This explains a lot, actually, in that, like, well, the purple dinosaur thing is not in this one. I'm guessing that's from Savers?
Purple dinosaur.
I don't know, the Goggle Kid's partner that's a purple dinosaur.
There's one that's purple, but it's
on the front of that game with Vmon and Agumon.
No, Doraemon. That's from X Evolution.
I don't know what that is.
X Evolution is not like we watched that.
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah,
that sucks. Is that not from anything else?
No, that's from X Evolution.
Oh crap! Okay, well that thing sucks. All right, ignore that.
Which by the way, I think I worked out when I want to watch that because
right.
I'm trying to look at.
So what were we talking about before we talk about X Evolution?
Okay, we won't talk about X Evolution yet. So we have Namon.
It's skinny, I guess. That's all there is going for it.
He should be Junpei's partner. Because they always have the opposites, yeah. What about Agunimon?
Oh my god. Both Agunimon and Lobomon, both of them are just like, they're just dudes in armor. And yeah, that's fine when it's your Angemon or whatever, but they don't even feel like, people dressed as themselves. They really feel like grown adults in really good cosplays.
Yes. Okay, no, I see your point. So, do you have any further thoughts on Lobomon/Wolfmon?
I don't know, like, it's got a fine design. Both of them are designed fine, but just what they represent is so annoying. Yeah. I don't like it.
Well, I hope you start liking it, because otherwise it's going to be a miserable, like, few months.
I'm prepared for that.
The first half of 2017 will not be good to you.
I'm prepared for that.
Well, only the podcast. On to Postmon Pat. First up, we have some With the Will stuff. So first of all, we have a comment from Wildwing64 who says that they finished the Tamers last movie and they agrees that it feels like it's just an event that happens and not so much a good conclusion to Tamers. And it actually seems to be, it's just another episode which is non-canon or happens at a non-specific time in the future.
Yep, it's an episode at 150% the length. That's it.
And basically, it's things take place, it's entertaining to watch, and that's it. And I agree with it.
Except it wasn't all that entertaining to watch.
I found it like somewhat entertaining to watch, but I would have preferred like an actual ending to take, like where are they now? What happens next? Sort of thing, rather than just they have Digimon now.
If given the choice between two options, A, you can go find whatever you want to do if you choose, or B, here is something somewhat entertaining. It's okay entertaining. Would you prefer to do your own thing, or settle for yeah, it's fine?
Yeah, good point. Wildwing64 then says they're looking forward to our Frontier coverage. They're watching along because they never watched Frontier besides the first few episodes.
Well, get ready for pain, if this is anything to go by.
The next thing is from Smile Wolfie via With the Will PM. So you can send me private messages on With the Will, that's fine too. We do have the forum, but if you don't feel like posting in the forum, that's fine to PM me if you want. I'm Edramon, of course. So Smile Wolfie says that they're excited for Frontier, and out of all the seasons, it seems to have the best and most established digital world, which I completely agree with. I feel like they did spend a lot of time designing the digital world and making it more than just the desert that it was in Tamers, because let's be real, it was effectively desert with some clouds and also a small forest.
There's definitely more stuff going on with this one, in that, like, the quest involves restoring it, so it has to have more going on.
Yep. At
the same time, I bet that, all things considered, it has less going on, because it's missing big chunks of land.
Yes. But that may or may not be because of the Cerberumon.
Well, that is because.
Yeah, was it stated? I feel like it was.
It was stated in both versions.
Yeah, good. And, yeah, Smile Wolfie says the overall plot is likeable, and they look forward to Jay destroying childhood memories of the show.
Oh my god, get ready for it.
And then May giving perspective on how Zoe is handled. So, yeah, get ready for that. Smile Wolfie also says that they're getting their boyfriend to suffer alongside Jay by making him watch the Japanese and English episodes along with the podcast.
Get Shreckled.
Yeah, so good luck to your boyfriend. I hope he is not in so much pain as Jay is right now.
I'm so tired.
On to Gmail, we have an email from SP who says Frontier has good music, especially the songs where they depart from the digital world. He then says that Takuya's Japanese VA is Naruto, and that Frontier has a strong start.
No, it really doesn't. Okay, it has a strong opening, 2 minutes, where a person's almost smushed by a truck.
Yes.
Great, awesome. What did that accomplish? It told you that he's reckless, and that he looks at his phone when he's crossing the street. Good on him.
The next email is from Ali, and Ali asks, of all the movies you've seen so far, which one do you believe is your favourite? So, I'm not sure if Try is included in this, but I
Yeah,
really...
Try Chapter 3, that's a movie. I'm taking it.
Try Chapter 3 is good, but if we're not including Try, I will always, always love Our War Game and Cerberumon Strikes Back.
You're pausing. I told you, episode 3 of Try.
So do you have, what about if Try's not included? You liked Our War Game.
I liked Summer Wars.
Okay, but Our War Game was some... I feel like Our War Game is one of the strongest Digimon movies, like, that we've seen so far.
In Summer Wars, they win with Hanafuda.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, okay. Instead of Digimon, it was a card game, which we still need to learn how to play. I bought a set in Japan.
Yeah.
And then on to the next email, which was from Chakmon. And Chakmon says, the funniest part of the last episode was Mei saying Kazu was Rio Light, and Jay imagining teenage Kazu. See, I don't remember saying Rio Light, but I must have, because I'm amazing.
I also remember imagining Teenage Kazu.
I remember that.
What did I say?
You were saying about how, if they went back and they found the portal and all the characters were
when I was
teenagers.
imagining teenage Takado first.
Yeah. Then Chakmon says they love Hirokazu because his annoying traits are adorable, which is fair enough. Like, I feel like he's still got problems in the Japanese version, but it's not as bad as the English version. I feel like I like Hirokazu more because of how different he is from his English counterpart.
I mean, hey, some people like chihuahuas. Not everyone can be right.
Yeah. Then Chakmon says that I'm in for a treat for watching Frontier subbed for the first time. Characters are more endearing than in the English version. Can't wait for episode 3. And yeah, I agree. The characters are much, much, much more endearing in the Japanese version because they're people. They're not annoying. Finally, Chakmon says, as far as Jay's cynicism with Digimon, I will use the Digivice to purify the coldness of your heart. Digicode scan.
I'm not even there. You're in the wrong country, I think.
Probably. On Reddit, we have a message from Bionicle Man F, and they say, "Hey man Jay, your podcast got me binging on Digimon again. I had stopped at Tamer some years ago after I turned into your podcast when they started reviewing Try. Now that you reached Frontier, I can't wait to see what you think. I'm especially waiting for the moment one of you says, what the hell is that Digimon doing running a market shop? I can't even remember what Digimon that was, so I guess we're both in for a treat there.
Yeah.
Then they say, also, whatever your opinion is of the evolution theme is or will be, my opinion is the Japanese theme is better for the first evolution than the English theme, but the English theme is better for the last.
But the English opening stomps all Digimon music that has ever existed.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is an amazing... I love it so much. Then on a Tumblr, Anonymon says, Jay, do you think Frontier will benefit from having no partner Digimon?
No!
Could there be more room for character interactions and development?
No. There's always plenty of room. They just didn't bother using it. So no, I don't think this will leave more room. I think it'll leave more room for them to dick around.
Yeah, no, you have a point. Anonymon then says, people don't like Frontier because of the absence of partner Digimon.
And so they shouldn't.
Anonymon then says, it's like Super Sentai, and then asks us, what do you think of Tokusatsu or Power Rangers shows?
I like Power Rangers, they're really awesome.
I've never watched any Super Sentai show, so I don't know.
But I think I like them now because of how over-the-top and dumb they are, and how, like, they just don't take themselves seriously at all. One of my favorite animes of all time is Samurai Flamenco, which spends, that show really, really, like, accelerates through its arcs,
yeah.
But it spends an arc exploring, which in the show I think amounts to like 4 or 5, like about 4 episodes, exploring Sentai tropes and how they're all really dumb and like just going through all of them. It's really, really funny. Samurai Flamenco, it's really great.
Yeah. The next Anonymon says that the Sailor Moon anime has 200 episodes, which is like 4 seasons of Digimon. So that's not too bad. Like that's
yeah,
less
that's
than
easy.
Digimon.
We can do that in a week.
And then the last message is from Sage. I'm going to mispronounce this. Straighten. I feel it's Sage Straighten. Says that they love the way that Jay talks, and his opinions are so enjoyable, especially the ones about Takado becoming the bad guy, and that your voice is funny, Jay.
I'm too tired to be humble. You're right. I'm awesome. Don't make fun of my voice, though. That's mean.
No, but like your voice is great, though. I really like really like the laugh that you'd get when it's something funny happen.
You mean the embarrassing?
No, I don't know. I can't even do it. I don't want to mimic it, but
That's
you have a
okay.
nice laugh.
Thank you.
For I Will Show You Digi-World this week, I found a Digimon called Cerberumon Werewolf Mode.
Does it require me to open my eyes? Because if it does, Save it to next week.
No, I can do it. I'll pry open your eyes if I have to. So what do you think it'll look like?
It'll look like him just standing up. I don't care. Show me the thing. Oh boy, I wasn't expecting that. He's standing up on 2 legs, but both his hands are wolf heads.
Yeah, right?
And they're the size of his own body.
Right? That laugh. That's the laugh I like. That laugh. There we go.
Okay.
I knew I could get that.
Alright everybody, join us for the next episode of Voltron, Defender of the Universe. Kumamon, baby! Light my fire!
Or, bullying is unforgivable. Evolve, Chuckmon of ice.
And Kaismon kicks it.
Or, my kick is painful. Female warrior Fairymon.
Oh, so she's ice, not air. Which means he was earth, and he was lightning. Awesome!
What? No?
What?
I guess it doesn't actually say what her thing is.
Did I say that she was...
But also, Chuckmon of ice is literally
No,
said in the title.
Earth. Tomoki was Earth, and Junpei's gonna be lightning.
So, who's Chuckumon's evolution?
Chakumon of ice, that's the fairy. Wait, Kazemon kicks it.
Yes.
What?
What?
Okay, hold on.
You sound very confused by these titles. I guess we'll discuss an obnoxious synopsis for next week.
Okay, so Chakumon is going to be Tomoki. It's the... But why would Kazemon be the English name and not the Japanese name?
I know.
What? Okay.
Also, Kuma means bear, and that's the English one of Kumon is
Oh no,
Kumon.
Kumamon is Tomoki.
Because
he's a little bear.
I just want to say, Kumamon is bear, and they've used the Japanese word for bear and the Japanese word for
Lightning.
wind.
Wait, you're right.
Kaze's wind.
No, it isn't. Isn't Kaze shadow? The Kage is shadow.
Kaze is wind.
Yeah, right. I knew that.
So they use Japanese terms in the English version, so I guess that's like the opposite of what they've done in the past.
Okay, what now?
For Weekly Wonders this week, I have recommended Until Dawn, Rush of Blood.
It's good.
It's
you
good.
screamed a lot.
I screamed a lot. It's great. I love it.
I recommend Magic the Gathering. It's really fun.
Riku was right. Riku was like, wow, I bet he's going to do Magic the Gathering for Weekly Wonders, but
I'm dead tired now.
Okay, I guess that's what you chose to do. So, the linked up we linked
Alright,
in the description.
please do all the outro stuff. I'm going to go to sleep now.
Okay, good night. So, yeah, basically, I did explain this to in the Patreon version of this, the unedited version, but I guess I should explain it to everyone. So what happened was we recorded at normal time last night. We recorded about 50 minutes, and I'm really sick at the moment. So I had the last 2 days off from work, so I was not well enough to continue. So if you seem like there's a bit of like a volume difference, it's because we've changed rooms, and it's also several hours later. It is now 6:30 in the morning, and we were recording for an hour about 8 o'clock last night. So, yeah, and then Jay had a Magic the Gathering pre-release at midnight, and then came over here at 5, and then we started recording then. So, yeah, basically, we are both super tired. I'm sick, and Jay's just tired, so Jay's gonna go to bed now. So, I just wanted to explain that. So, apologies if the quality of either part of this episode isn't particularly fantastic. We had reasons, but hopefully the content is good, even if the quality is not. And that's fine, because the first, 30 episodes are us using terrible microphones, so maybe sometimes we can have the quality of the content, not the quality of the actual thing, but hopefully we're still good of both. Anyway, the link dump will be linked in the description. And you can also find our screenshots of the week and our weekly wonders, which are also linked in the description and in our link dump. You can contact us to stay updated. You can email us at lostintranslationmon@gmail.com, or you can comment on this episode or message us on SoundCloud. You can follow us on @translationmon on Twitter, and you can also find us at Lost in Translationmon on Tumblr, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a discussion thread on With the Will and a Reddit thread in the Digimon subreddit, and we'd really appreciate if you were to review us on iTunes and Stitcher. And thanks to our Patreon supporters, Sam Krieger, who hosts a podcast called The Moncast, which talks about Pokemon and Digimon; Wu Qinglong, who you can follow on Twitch with the same username, WUQINGLONG; Metal Mamimon; Joe, Anime Guy, who is Anime Kurosaki, then the number 1 on YouTube; Chuckmon, Ishpal Bamba, Hiro Olato, who is Hiro Olato on Twitter; Jason Morosky, Ruichi, who is Frost Moragic on Archive of Our Own; Stephen Reitz, who is at WildWing64 on Twitter; Kaida Washi, Mac, Noam, and a very happy birthday to Noam for the 17th of January. My well wishes go to you, and also Jay. I hope you have a fantastic day, but yeah, Jay is still asleep at the moment. So then we have Riku, who was right. Magic the Gathering was Jay's weekly wonder, and my alarm is going off now.
You win no prize.
You win audio, thanks. So we also have Red and Garen from Breakfast with Digimon, which is another Digimon podcast. We have Chisai, who you can follow it at Chisai236 on Tumblr, and you should totally commission them because they're amazing and they've done those really cool animations, so do that. There's also Corey, Kyle, and the Ladybug Man, who you can read his blog about anime on Bagu Buragu at wordpress.com. So that's BAGUBURAGU. You can also make a one-off donation on PayPal, which we found linked in the description. It's paypal.me/Ergemon, and that'll also be linked in the description, as I just said. Make sure to listen to us for the podcast. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time, and hopefully I'm less sick and Jay's less tired. Bye!
Bye.